Chapter 11. Welcome to the Pit. Survival, the foundation life depends on when morals cease to exist. Food, water, shelter. We all need these things to stay alive. After all, why live if you can't even grant yourself proper nourishment? Living isn't merely for scraps. It's about enjoying yourself to the fullest. And if survival is all there is, how do you fight on without a goal to aim for besides feasting? That's all you can do. Fight, hoping to reach the point of thriving, the point of living in a day and age where there's more than clawing your way through each day. You fight for the thriving point.
This hole we lie, these bars we call home, our claws we sheath. The fight we end, these tears go on without end. The struggle is to strain and kill our being. It is for the good of all to remain here, obedient and follow commands. Survive, get by, and you will get along. Welcome to the pit.
I read the excerpt carved in the minimal enclosure, unsure of its meaning. Even if I couldn't comprehend the meaning, the feel of the words made me uncomfortable. The Moki who graciously warned me last night had since returned to their corner, keeping the silence. Once again, I found myself in a situation full of questions, with the most pressing being, where am I, and what happened? I didn't travel to this room. I was brought here. Who carried me? Was it Ansar? If so, how did he escape that group's clutches and many more? All I knew to do was talk to the quiet one in the corner. But I didn't know them at all, and I was, as usual, nervous to do so. They had a similar physique to Mick, with arms fluffier than the average Moki. In fact, their entire body bore a coat of thicker proportions, yet their arms stood bold on their peak. However, their exotic colors remained higher still. Dominant whites were married by icy blues, and ironically, would keep anyone warm. I hadn't the focus to admire such things. My eyes simply seeked many questions. With shaken strength and haphazard vocabulary, I spoke.
Excuse me, Mr. or, Miss? I don't know how I got here. Do you know where we are?
Calm down. You're safe here with me. That's Miss, dear one.
Her whispers entered warmly in my ears and granted the chills rest upon my fur.
I'm sure you read the writing on the wall. Welcome to the pit, it said. The pit is where we are now. It's a hole the Gorlek constructed long ago, used to hold prisoners like you and me.
Their words came across as gibberish I couldn't comprehend. Gorlek? Prisoner? Ava didn't teach me nearly as much as I thought he did.
You look lost, little one. Did I say something wrong?
Sorry, I don't know what prisoner or garlic means.
Dear spirit, there's no need to tremble around me. I remain in the same position as you. Frail, unsure, yet warm knowing another is near. A prisoner is what we are. It's what your captor deems a criminal or simply a bad person.
What? What did I do wrong? All I did was come to this place and we came to help, and now I'm here, but I don't know how. Wait, where's Ansar?
Slow down. I don't have all the answers, but I'll respond with what I know. Breathe, little one.
Her tender whispers rekindled the faded warmth. Taking the Moki's advice, I breathed deep. The air glided inward and laid there for a brief moment, and soared from me in a similar fashion as I sat in front of her. She smiled, seeing my agitated state dull.
That's better. You're not a bad person. Those who placed us here have chosen to label you as such, despite the lies they've told themselves. I'm sure you know how they feel about your kind.
Yes.
I looked with a forlorn gaze. The reminder, although disheartening, diminished a wave of sudden comfort upon my head. Her now outstretched paw soothed me with slow, intricate pets. With curious eyes, I looked up at the source of comfort, dumbfounded at such a sensation I did not felt in far too long.
I may not understand everything you're feeling, but I can feel your fear. Their words are not truthful, and they hurt. Nevertheless, remain as you are. They've no right to be this way, but 50 years with decay changes those not bearing the light. Our leader, Aflik, is amongst the most changed. His matted fur is only one example of what I mean.
Vicious memories were summoned before my eyes. The face of the matted one flashed by in the blink of an eye as the words stung me deep once more.
You're nothing but a curse.
I squeezed my eyes shut and gripped the fur upon my legs as though nasty flavors coated my tongue.
I see my words bring painful reminders to you. I'm sorry. He's been this way for a long time, and he filled our heads with so many words that I now know to be wrong.
Still recovering from the words that nailed critically into my mind, I simply nodded in response.
Is this too much for you? I do not wish to overwhelm you, Spirit.
No! I'm sorry. I didn't mean to be rude.
She looked with clear confusion.
Rude? You're anything but, child. I just wanted to check on you.
Her eyes panned toward my chest and widened at the sight.
Oh my, you've been through quite a lot. Are you all right?
Her eyes demonstrated a concerning aura.
What did I do wrong?
Fortunately, I committed no crime. She merely noticed the now darkened scars upon my chest.
Oh, yeah, I'm okay.
Are you sure? Those wounds are quite severe.
I got scratched a little, but another Moki helped me before it got too bad.
I'm glad you're okay, but how did your body retain such painful memories? Spirits don't leave marks like this. If their wounds heal, then any cuts or bruises should vanish without a trace.
In only a few sentences, I questioned myself again. Was I really that special to even retain scars no other spirit could?
You're quite distinct, dear one. Nothing wrong with a few scrapes. It just means you've been through a lot. Scars aside, I believe you asked what a Gorlek is. And assuming you've entered through the pass, you will have seen 2 guardians at the gate. Those are the Gorlek. A species with bodies as hard as stone, and some with manes of shining white fur.
I remember them. They were at the start of this place.
A smile broke free from my hesitant prison. Finally, I could feel confidence in something, even if it was very small in the grand scheme.
Very good. Observant little spirit, I see. You'll need that skill going forward if you're going to survive in this world.
An unfortunate set of knocks at our door halted the entire conversation, and so faded my smile. Following the knocks, vocals carrying authority reached out for our ears. I looked at the Moki, scared, wondering what to do. They told us to get up and stand at our doors, meaning every prisoner in the facility. However, such commands remained new to my ears. Should I follow their lead, or answer only to my fear? She walked over to the door and waved her paw, encouraging me to follow. With no Strider present, no father to take my hand, and no tree to warm me, my options were limited to only her. Being desperate for what little companionship remained, I did not argue and stood by her. The hall, although obstructed by restrictive doors, carried weak reverbance through each knock and each call. The low ceiling and the assumed short length of our prison likely canceled most of the echo's plans to repeat our spoken words. A lifetime had passed since waiting for further instruction. The knocking stalled eventually, leaving only silence, and awakened awkward moments of when. When would that door open, and when would we be told what comes next? The only breaks to said silence were footsteps pattering against the stone as they passed our door.
All right. I don't want anything to come at me when I open this door. Only move when I approve. You step 1 foot forward, and I'll smite your hands.
After hours of this dimly lit room, the door opened. I wanted to smile, feel relief wave through my fur, but the Moki beyond the door wouldn't allow such pleasantries. This one carried feminine cadence in her delivery, and succeeded in beating down my cadence with her stark aura.
You're new here, so I'll give you a warning now. I don't care if you're a child. I don't care what you've been through, and I don't care where you came from. You're still a product of a failed species, and anyone who bears the light in my house will be treated as such. You step out of line one too many times, I will carve that line on you. Do I make myself clear?
Yes, ma'am!
All right, out of your cells. Line up by the lift, single file. Don't step out of line. Follow behind these two.
Each of the prisoners filed behind us. Various pairs of eyes glared or side-eyed upon my small and timid form. Each one's look may have told different stories, yet nothing locked my focus more than one thought. They all must hate me. Why else would they stare with such animosity? I let my partner lead the charge. Although hiding anywhere was impossible, feeling more secure was important to me. She made me comfortable, and with the overwhelming force of negativity, I needed that more than anything. Voices murmured as the prisoners exchanged nasty gossip. Some made their own predictions of a supposed workload they'd have. Others talked about me. I ignored most of it, though some slipped through the cracks of my oblivious armor. They wondered how long I would last, and all of it was nonsense to me. What workload? Why would I have trouble here? Our transportation drew my curiosity. A square space with a wooden platform protected with safety rails, surrounded by sporadic pairs of rope firmly rested in a vertical fashion, and simultaneously lied in wait for us. We were all instructed to get on 5 at a time, but how would we go anywhere from here? Did they seriously expect us to climb? The term lift came to mind. I knew what it meant, but under this context, I wasn't sure how we'd be lifted. All the same, I stepped on, followed by 3 other prisoners. There were a concerning amount of Moki amongst us, yet none of their fur followed the same patterns to ones I'd seen back home. Besides my cellmate, they all had a variety of colors, minty pale greens with white spots along their sides coated 2 of them, followed by white-tipped tails and ears. The rest stood boldly with grays and black around the eyes that pulled away like oversized tears. It was incredible to see such variety in the Moki species of this land. 5 distinct variants resided within Zoe, at least the ones I'd seen.
Could there be more out there?
Once we all stood firmly on the platform, the guard standing by us called out to those above. Suddenly, the ropes around the platform began to move down, then up, and by proxy, our wooden foundation rose. As we rose above the pit, my eyes winced from the sunlight that beamed into the valley above. The technology scared me. How did it work? Would falling be a worry? There were guardrails, yet my mind wandered to the worst-case scenario. What if the floor fell out from under me? The wide platform carried 6 creatures on it and showed no signs of falling apart, but what if it didn't? The other prisoners' eyes glowed a few different colors, from white to blue to pale green. Their unfamiliar looks encouraged me to keep my eyes locked on the floor. Despite this, my ears couldn't escape their worrisome murmurs.
Hard to believe they'd allow a dim twig into the pit. Really? These people only care about one thing, keeping themselves afloat. Even forgotten relics aren't off the table.
Hey! Drop it, laborer!
The guard before us thumped their spear on the planks below. For once, I welcomed the silence into my abode. Their exchanges were enough to bring my optics into a roll. It didn't matter, though. We'd already reached the precipice of our journey.
Step off. Go up the hill.
At last, a familiar sight. The valley Ansar and I entered laid before my eyes, but there was no time for sightseeing. Disobeying their orders wouldn't be wise, so we made our approach to the hill he mentioned. All us pit dwellers were located toward the very back of the expanse, which explained how I'd never seen the structure. It looked identical to its appearance below, just with no walls clouding the view. Everything remained dry and grainy, which allowed sand to continue invading my fur and eyes. The day I'd be free from such an environment, I'd jump for joy. The desert hardly evoked comfort. Over the incline, my eyes were introduced to a sight I never expected. Sand punctured with many holes and dull, wilted berries dreadfully introduced itself to me. I wish I could say I'd never seen the likes of these before, but Zoe desensitized me to all manner of dead. Nevertheless, I lamented the sight. There were no prison monitors with us yet. They were too focused on gathering the straggling gossipers. I took this opportunity to ask my cellmate what happened here.
Miss? What's happening here? Why are all the berries dead?
Little spirit, haven't you heard of these berries?
She seemed confused. To her, it may have been common knowledge, and I knew of the berries, but not why they lay dead here.
Yes, but not dead like this.
I see. for such blessed delicacies to grow, they require the light of the tree to thrive. Despite the desert's decayed origin, they blossom perfectly upon many cacti throughout the barren wasteland. A small mercy compared to the snakes and birds that claw and bite.
The lore fascinated me, yet how did any light manage to crawl through such overwhelming odds to nourish the food we'd need here?
No one knows how such miracles could flourish, but the dune striders of the past speculated that a root of the tree is embedded deep underneath the biome and spreading said light along its path.
Line up. Stand side by side.
The Moki's voice assaulted our ears with gravel dissonance, and it demonstrated great age. The scars that claimed his right eye and hands chilled my fur. What pain had these residents endured? Thin and meek Moki laid along the walls, prisoners left scarred and inconsiderate towards me. Even the guards weren't left without lesions. I realized I was only a kid, and yet something within me knew. I wanted to free these poor souls. If only that were easy.
We've noticed an increase in spirit light sapping. Aflik isn't pleased. Let me remind you, without light, the berries won't grow, and without food, we'll starve. If I catch any of you stealing something extra from us, you will spend the rest of the day licking your wounds. Except you.
He aimed a clawed finger at me and caused my heart to skip beats.
You will be sent straight to Aflik should you step out of line. That female saved you last time, but I won't allow her to stand in my way.
I didn't know much about Aflik or the mystery girl who saved me, but from the moment we locked eyes yesterday, meeting that matted aggressor again was the last thing I wanted.
With all that being said, get to work. The council hasn't been pleased with our efforts. You all better pick up the slack. Wspr, teach him how we do things here.
My body stood stiff, and the breathing stalled. My heart sent its pulses throughout every inch of me until he finally ceased his speech. I fell to my knees and breathed as if I ran for miles. Unfortunately, this wasn't the end of my marathon.
Come now, to your feet. We've a long day ahead of us.
The white Moki grabbed my arm and helped me to my paws.
What are we doing?
We'll be in charge of growing more blessed droplets today.
You mean those berries?
Yes, dear one. They're the purple berries you've likely seen on your journey here.
My memory of said droplets was rather bitter. They did heal the wounds upon my body, yet as the plump, chewy bulb landed past my teeth, the repulsive sensations overruled any joy they brought.
Yuck! I did not like them.
Sudden regret washed over me. Should I have said such things? Would she appreciate me shredding distaste for such crucial wildlife? My ears sagged, and I turned away with anticipation. A whispered chuckle escaped from her direction. Instead of anger or offense taken, she responded tender as can be.
Not everyone's a fan of the striking sweetness, but such nutrients are required to keep ourselves healthy.
Maybe. How do we grow them?
Let me show you.
I stood over the holes of the dead, hoping we'd be more successful than the other berry planters before us. Many lives were on the line, and it was up to us to triumph before they all failed.
The first step is to pry open one of these fading droplets. If the berry is gray and wrinkly, the seeds won't be useful, but ones that are dark purple are salvageable. Inside these fruits are small white seeds, and those are what we need.
But how will they grow without dirt?
She dropped a few seeds in the holes around us, and then revealed a simple bag stitched with thin, pale brown strings hanging behind her. It was rather dull and worn-looking, but the main prize left me in awe. The Moki pulled out bright golden spheres, orbited by several yellow lines, tipped with pointed ends like an arrow. My eyes were fixed on the glorious orb. Its light forced a smile out of me. Why hadn't I seen such a thing in all of my travels? She continued to defy my expectations and passed it to me.
No need to fear. Just drop it in one of the holes.
Despite her clear instructions, I remained bewildered. What was the purpose of this golden ball of light, and why did I have to be the instigator?
What will it do?
As the guard said, the berries need the light to grow. These spheres are very important. Without spirit light, there's no way for them to grow.
I'd heard the term spirit light before. Abba used to talk about them. He describes them as the weakest form of light to exist. Apparently, the spheres spawned occasionally from plants throughout Zoe, but the foliage had to be in full bloom and untainted by a poor environment. Given the current predicament, some things would be left behind, it seems. However, despite this, she held warm light the likes I'd never seen. Something was amiss. Regardless, I followed her instruction and gently placed the light into one of the holes. This process repeated itself for a while. The other prisoners joined us in the activity before long and partook in a lot of banter. You think we'll get a good serving today? I doubt it. We'll probably just share again. Or if we're lucky, eat the grains of sand in our cells. Could you even survive that? Absolutely! My body is tougher than stone! Yeah, we've heard that before. You calling me a liar? Our authority figures had to chime in here and there. It worked for about 10 minutes, and then looped back on itself. I, on the other hand, asked more important questions.
Miss, sorry, I don't know your name.
No worries, my little light. My name is Wspr.
She smiled.
Oh, okay. Miss Wspr, if all the berries need is light, why are they all so hungry?
They?
The Moki against the walls.
As those words came to a close, Whisper's ears gave bow, and her reserved voice somehow faded more than before.
The berries don't always grow. Bright as they are, the orbs are still the weakest power light can offer. Without the light of the tree, there's no guarantee anyone will have a meal today. Thankfully, a single slice is all you need to survive for half a day. It's how we've all lived this long with slow tapering.
Tapering?
Slowly dying.
After many hours, her name revealed itself, and it was rather fitting of her distinct method of communication. She always whispered, never resorting to an outdoor voice. Why suppress herself like this? I tried to ask, but she gave me no comment. It must have been a touchy subject for her. The less sensitive subject I presented involved the location of these light spheres. Being in a desert with little foliage made it impossible to gather any.
Do you see that cave behind us?
I turned my head to see a cold, dreary opening in the furthest wall from where me and my guide entered. I couldn't explain it, yet something about the dim, colorless entry invited trickling unease through my fur.
Yes?
Inside is where the other prisoners work. The pit keepers send half here and half there each day. Nearly a decade ago, Aflik began a project to try tunneling through that wall, to the other side, and into the jungle beyond our valley.
What? That sounds really hard. Why did he want the prisoners to do that?
A single trip from the start of the pass to the other side would take days, and from the pass onward, still a few days' time. This would shorten the trip by quite a bit. The jungle contains food, and with the state of us, we need every bite we can find. None of us know the way through the pass anymore. We just get lost and perish on the way back.
Is that where the light is?
Oh, no. Sorry, I caught myself on a tangent. We've managed to tunnel through most of it, but a few years ago a root from a tree was discovered, and it blocked our way. However, with enough digging, the root produced spirit light, and from years of excavating, we've stocked hundreds of these little spheres.
Oh, so do we have to worry about running out?
Is that why you've been so careful with placing them? Dear Spirit, we have plenty to go around. There's no reason to hesitate.
Sorry! I thought we wanted to save as much as we can!
It's all right. Let's go back to planting. My goodness, many of those beauties are likely to sprout in ripe fashion. We've been rather lucky today. We may not have to share on your first day. Good job, little one.
She proceeded to pet my head, and feeling as though I had been given a rite of passage, I smiled from ear to ear. The day flew by in a glide, fighting against the current, and the clouds lethargically passed through the brown grain-filled valley. Holes were dug, refilled, and cleaned of dead matter. Many potential edibles met sorrowful ends time and time again. Nevertheless, their remains nurtured future generations that came and went 5 minutes at a time. Unlike other plants in this world, these ones grew swift as the wind. With light directly applied, their growth surpassed any other living being. Wspr taught me to watch each blessed droplet carefully. If their growth turned gray or wrinkled and dark, I was to toss them aside and make way for new seeds. Waves of guilt splashed my shores with continued consistency with each death that I cast aside. If only my light would work, I could try and hope they'd grow, but such an exercise would only embarrass me. After all, I couldn't even summon it properly. What was the secret to channeling such power from my hands, I wondered. Wspr said the harvest would be plentiful. She wasn't wrong. A stack of ripe purple sweets rested upon the sands. One of the guards was impressed, yet they still gave me judging glares. The inmates merely looked at the stack with watery mouths, almost forgetting me.
Good work. Despite the slacking, you ragtags managed something here. For once, there'll be plenty for all of us, and then some. Don't expect our luck to be high tomorrow.
Just when I thought there'd be a lick of positivity, the tongue fell dry. The same raspy-voiced Moki gave lectures like a parent.
Come on, man, lighten up. We've been working our tails off all day. Even your skinny legs will have the strength to kick us around twice as hard.
The crowd laughed. Even one Moki in authority had to restrain their laughter. Wspr held her silence, yet I couldn't help but crack a smile. However, the laughingstock wouldn't allow for such disrespect, and without drawing attention to himself, walked over to the perpetrator, with arms folded behind him. Before the Joker could notice, they were met with a backhanded smack across her face. Their eyes met each other at a discomforting proximity, close enough to hear his every breath drawn in and out.
At least my limbs are useful for more than berry picking.
He drew closer.
At least I can put up a fight. Don't forget, I will relish in drawing the blood of every last one of you while others watch.
With each word he spoke, he drew closer and closer until their noses made near contact. His face remained dull, yet his tone persisted with undertones of murderous intent. Many chills found their way up my fur from the threats he claimed. I wished for all of this to fade into obscurity, but my mind never forgets the polarizing punches. In the cold, dimly lit corridors, one intimidating authority paced along the stone pavement from cell to cell. Each time they passed where I resided, their eyes glared from the side, passing judgment with every step.
Pay them no mind, dear one. Their eyes are tainted like the sands they prowl at night.
I tried to take her words to heart, and it did warm me to hear someone on my side. However, the words of the other prisoners didn't boost any leftover confidence within me. They all sounded surprised how well I did, but would follow up with things like, "It was beginner's luck." I asked Wspr what that meant, and although she worded her way around the blunt truth, there were sinking feelings that clouded my judgment and dampened my mood. We were given an hour of free time before lights out, with the only contingent being that we remain in our cells. I used this time to listen, and it was a big mistake. Much of their conversations consisted of doubting me, never believing things would change, and that we'd all be consumed by the ever-growing decay. All of their words put my cause into perspective. I once asked myself how I would fulfill my promise. I sat in that cell, numb to the chills that flew, and left their rhetoric on loop in my head, until Wspr came to sit with me, providing her warmth once again.
They weren't always so hopeless. That Moki who made such reckless humor to the guard used to lift our spirits all the time. This prison wasn't always so cold, at least not emotionally.
I looked up, with eyes clearly worn from a demanding day.
Despite the work we are tasked with, the pit gave us moments of joy. Our less-than-ideal spear wielders didn't command so harshly. Unfortunately, the food situation remained in a faded state, and now everyone lives in defeat. Sure, she makes silly remarks here and there, but true smiles are never known here. Not anymore.
What about today? We grew a lot of berries, and they all seemed happy.
You are right. Today was the first time in weeks we'd ever truly smiled, and the first time they'd laughed fully in ages. That only reflected today, though. Tomorrow, we'll see.
Wspr turned her face toward my weary eyes and tried rekindling me with a smile.
Your presence here is interesting, in a good way. A spirit within our walls. I've not seen anything like it in a decade. Aflik banned your kind from entering here, yet here you are, sitting right beside me. You're alive and allowed to eat the berries we harvest. I do not wish to fill you with any pressure, but you reawakened a sliver of hope I thought I lost. In a sea of corrupted sands, seeing an innocent light here is a lovely change of pace. Sorry, just rambling again. I'm glad you're here, little light.
Unlike all the dissonance in the air, the melody she played settled my antenna and soothed my ears and watered my eyes. I did not wish for my voice to be heard, so I suppressed what little sobs escaped my prison and hugged her without hesitation. Some may find my crying tried and tired. To them I say, no tear made with the purest release is ever to be shamed.